Welcome my students in economics. My name is Gerard Rioti. As you know, we are studying economics and today's session is concerned about what we call production. We will look through the following unit where we will look what we call meaning of production, purpose of production, production functions, unit of production, economies and diseconomies of scale, cost of farm, factors of production, and the last point will be location and localization. So, production. What is production? Production is a process of converting inputs or raw materials into output or finished product, or it is simply a process of creating utility. As you know, utility is a satisfaction we gain from consuming or using a good or services. We'll look about forms of production, where we will see the direct production, indirect production, primary production, secondary production, and tertiary production. We will look the meaning of marginal rate of transformation, the rate at which one good can be replaced by another good. It is given by a formula of change in production of commodity X divided by change in production of commodity Y. We will look the meaning of a farm where we will see how it is in a production unity under unified management and control. We will look through the factor that determine the size of a farm. Here we will look some factors like market share of a farm, level of sales turnover, number of employees, value of capital employed. That is what we will see in factors that determine the size of farm. We will look through what we call economies and diseconomies of scale. What do you understand about economies and diseconomies of scale? As you know, economies of scale are the advantages occurring to a farm due to a larger size or a larger scale operation, while the economies of scale are the disadvantages of larger production or expansion according to a farm. In economies of scale, there is many forms where we will see technical economies, marketing economies, managerial economies, financial economies, research and development economies, and the last will be risk-bearing capacity. We will see the meaning of those forms. We will see also these economies of scale where we look through power communication, financial diseconomies, marketing diseconomies, quality control, coordination, and cooperation. We will see the terms which is called merges, type of merges. We will see horizontal merges, forward merges, backward merges, lateral merges, and conglomerate merges. The last point will be the type of cost, where we'll look the total cost, marginal cost, average variable cost, fixed cost, and average fixed cost. Welcome to today's session once again, where I thank you your encouragement and commitment of being economist, where you read and you share videos we look through. That makes me very encouraged to make another videos. Welcome once again. The meaning of production. Production refers to the process of converting inputs. When we say input in economics, it's raw materials into outputs. Outputs is finished product. The output can be goods or services. Some economists define production as process of creating utility. That is a process of giving something ability to satisfy a given want. Purpose of production. What is the purpose of production? All goods and services consumed are produced of production processes. Be it a shirt you dress, or wearing, soda you enjoy, the CD you play, or food you eat. It is a product of production process. Production is therefore plays the role of enabling consumers have those goods and services that give the utility. Let us look what we call direct and indirect production. Direct production is a system whereby which human beings provide for themselves all they need. Direct production is a system whereby human beings provide themselves all they need. That is a form of self-reliance. For example, grows all food it requires, raises the cows for the milk, builds its own houses, and literally does everything for itself. This is what we call direct production. Let us look indirect production, meaning producing items for sale so that with money received you can buy whatever items you require. Indirect production means producing an items for sale so that with the money you received you can buy another items you require. There is what we call primary production, secondary production, and tertiary production. Primary production means changing natural resources into primary products. Most of the output of primary production are raw materials for other industries. So, the major activities under primary production include agriculture, fishing, forestry, mining, and quarrying. So, secondary production. What do you understand about secondary production? Secondary production involves the conversion of raw materials into finished or semi-finished products. The output of secondary production or second sector may be ready for use or consumed for input by other industries. Manufacturing is an example of secondary production. So, what is the production functions? Production functions. Assuming two factors of production, labor and capital, the production function shows the relationship between output of factors of production. These are several ways of presenting the production function where the quantity of output will be the function of labor and capital. Let us look what we call production possibility frontier. Production possibility frontier, PPF. As our last sessions, I have promised you to give some explanations about production possibility frontier, or what we call transformation curve. Is a graph that shows all the possible combination of two goods that can be efficiently produced with limited resources. Production possibility frontier, or a transformation curve, is a graph that shows all the possible combination of two goods that can be efficiently produced with limited resources. Let us take an example. A farmer with 1 acre of land on which he or she can grow cash crops, food crops, or both. If all land is used for growing cash crops, the quantity is produced is for certain amount. If also a labor assumed to all land to grow for food crops, it will produce certain amount of quantity. Also, a labor can assume to combine those two things, food crops and cash crops, and the quantity will be gained is for certain amount. So the production possibility frontier will be the possible combination of two goods that can be efficiently produced with limited resources. So, let us move to what we call marginal rate of transformation. marginal rate of transformation. This is a slope of production possibility for Lothian. A slope of production possibility for Lothian at a given point is called a marginal rate of transformation, where we took a change in the production of commodity X and we divided it by a change in production of commodity Y. Let us look through a unit of production. A unit of production is a farm. What do you understand when we say a farm in economics? A farm is a production unit under unified management and control. A farm is a production unit under unified management and control. There is theories of a farm. As you know, a farm is any productive unit under unified management and control. A farm varies in size, location, ownership, and other differences. For example, a larger farm, like a soda bottling company, is different from a smaller farm baking bread on outskirts of town. These are privately owned farms and public farms. What importance is that a farm are engaged in production of goods and services are under unified management. So, there is many forms of production where we see direct production, indirect production. As you know, direct production is whereby people produce directly what they need. So, we'll see how it is doing. So, let us look on what we call economies and diseconomies of scale. When we hear about economies and diseconomies of scale, what do you understand as a student of economics? Economies of scale are advantages that a firm enjoys due to long-run expansion. So, economies of scale are factors that cause a producer's average cost to fall as a firm's scale of production is increased. The reduction in cost of production is because of improvement in productive efficiency and can be extended to consumers through reduction in price. So, economies of scale give a firm a competitive advantage over other firms. By lowering costs, the firm may be able to charge lower prices and make more profit through increased sales. That is economies of scale. Economies of scale gives a firm a competitive advantage over other farmers by lowering costs. The farm may be able to charge lower prices and make more profit through increased sales, amount of sales that will be gained due to a farm has lowering prices. It will be its advantages. So there are many forms of economies of scale, where there is what we call technical economies of scale. What do you understand about technical economies of scale? These are related to production process itself. They may take any of the following forms. Technical economies of scale may have the following forms: expensive capital inputs, expensive capital inputs. Larger scale business can afford to invest expensive and specialized machinery. For example, a supermarket might invest in new database technology that improves stock control and reduces transportation and distribution costs. This kind of technical may not be cost efficient for smaller retail shop. There is what we call specialization of workforce. Within larger firm, the production process can be split into separate tasks to boost productivity. This increases labor efficiency and overall input. So we have another forms of economies of scale, where there is marketing economies of scale, farmer which making marketing that will take the advantage of larger sales that can make it lowering its prices and increase the revenue due to larger sales. There is what we call managerial economies of scale. Managerial economies of scale also is another forms of economies of scale, where a larger firm are able to employ specialized managers and also allow specialization within a firm. For example, a larger scale manufacturer employ specialists to supervise a production system. There is also what we call financial economies of scale. Financial economies of scale, a larger firm are preferred by financial institutions for credit and therefore have more access to credit facilities with a favorable rate of interest in contrast to a smaller firm that often for being higher rates of interest. So there is what you call research and development as form of economies of scale. As you know, economies of scale are advantages. A farm gain or acquiring to a farm due to a larger scale operations are the advantages acquiring to a farm due to a larger scale operations. So, the last form of economies of scale are or is a risk-bearing capacity. As you know, in life, there is what we call risk-bearing, to take a risk. There is an expression that the highest risk in life is to not take a risk. The highest risk in life is to not take risk. Okay, as our economics student, my student of or realty or Gerard realty students, remember this in your life. The highest risk in life is not to take a risk. So here in forms of economies of scale, the last is what we call risk-bearing capacity. A larger firm affords to split its risk by producing many items. A larger firm can afford to split its risk by producing many items. What they call shift of burden. So in the larger firms take advantages of spreading its risk by producing many items. So let us move on what we call disadvantages of economies or diseconomies of scale. These economies of scale are the result of decreasing returns to a scale. These economies of scale occurs when a business grows so large that the cost per unit of output increases. These economies of scale include poor communication. As a firm expands, communication between different departments and branches create a very long chain of command, and communication becomes difficult. Those are some disadvantages that can occur to a firm due to larger expansions of a firm. So there is what we call poor communication. There is financial diseconomies. Expanding a firm requires large amount of funds for operations and investment. So they may find it harder to get larger amount of funds from financial institutions compared to a smaller amount required by a smaller firms. Marketing economies. Marketing economies is another form of these economies of scale, where the lack of motivations workers in a larger firm feel more isolated and less appreciated because they are rarely interact with their bosses, and as such, their loyalty and motivations diminishes. So that is another disadvantages of these economies of scale where as a firm become more larger and expanded, there is some disadvantages that result from that expansion of a firm. The last is what we call quality control, managing and monitoring the production process in a larger firm to ensure quality output is downtime task. The expansion of a firm may therefore lead to reduction in quality and service, which in turn may lead to reduced sales and profit. So, let us look on what we call merges, how a firm can join together. What is the advantages? Why do we merge a firm? So, what a form of merging? So, merging are the mutual agreements between companies to join together. That is what we call mergers in economics. Mergers are mutual agreements between companies or firms to join together. Takeover can be costly in that company being taken over does not want to be bought by the larger business. So, takeover do not need to be and not always hostile, as some in fact can be friendly in that company being taken over, want to be taken over and can be even asked to be taken over. So, why companies merge? That is the question. Why do we join our companies together? There are some reasons. To gain economies of scale. It is quickest and easiest way to expand. When we join our companies, it is a quickest and easiest way to expand. There is another reason why a company can make a mutual agreement to join together, which is simple survival. Survival of a fittest. To continue in the market, the company may need to grow, and easiest way is to buy other firms. So the last reason why the companies may merge together is what we call investment purposes. Investment purposes. Buying up other businesses is a form of investment. So, it is a reason why some companies decide to make much agreements between another companies to join together to form one strong company. So, there is some types of mergers or takeover. Mergers or takeover. Horizontal merging. Horizontal merging occurs where two firms is exactly same line of business or stage of production join or merge with another. Horizontal mergers or horizontal takeover is where two businesses at the same line of business or stage of production join together. One business at a line of production stage join with another business or a farm with same stage. It is what we call horizontal merges of a company. For example, if two restaurants join together, this is an example of horizontal merge. So there is what we call forward vertical. Forward vertical. A forward vertical merge is where a business merges with another business at the next stage of production process. Forward vertical or forward merging is where a business merges with another business at the next stage of the production process. For example, a furniture maker merging with a furniture retailer shop. So, there is another form of merge or takeover, what we call backward vertical. A backward vertical merge is where a business merges with another business at previous stage of production process. Backward merge is where a business merges with another business at a previous stage of production process. There is what we call lateral merge, is where a firm merges with another firm that makes similar goods but who are not in competition with each other. A firm merges with another firm which makes similar goods but not in competition with each other. For example, a fresh milk producer merged with UHT milk producer. The last point, it is what we call conglomerate merge. Conglomerate merge. A conglomerate merge is where a firm is completely different industry merged together. Conglomerate merge is where a firm's completely different industries merge together. For example, a restaurant merging with a studio. So this is what we call conglomerate merge. Let's look on what we call law of diminishing returns. Law of diminishing returns. Law of diminishing return. Law of diminishing returns stated that as successive units of variable factors of production are combined with fixed factors of production, the managerial product of variable factors will eventually decline or decrease. So, for example, as more and more workers are combined with fixed amount of capital, the marginal product of labor eventually starts to climb. This is why managerial product curve first rises but eventually declines. So that is law of diminishing return. So let us look on factors of production as our last point of today. Factors of production. Factors of production are the resources or inputs that are necessary to enable production of goods and services. Simply like that. Factors of production are resources or inputs that are necessary to enable the production of goods and services. There are resources that are necessary for production to take place. So they are usually classified into four different groups. There is what we call land. Land is all natural resources, minerals, and other raw materials. The first factors of production or inputs that are necessary to enable production of goods and services is land. When we say land, it includes all natural resources, minerals, and other raw materials. The second factors of production is what we call labor. Labor are all human resources, mental and physical. The third factor of production is capital. Capital, it includes all man-made resources that contribute to production, machinery, equipment, and so on. The last point of factors of production is what we call entrepreneurship. That is what we call entrepreneur ability. So that is the last point of our today's session. Let us look through what we have seen today. Today, we have seen the production unit, where we have seen meaning of production. Meaning of production as a process of converting input or raw materials into output or finished product. We have seen the forms of production, where we have seen the direct production, indirect production, primary, secondary, and tertiary production. We have looked what we call managerial rate of transformation. Managerial rate of transformation is a rate at which one good can be replaced by another. This is what we call managerial marginal rate of transformation. Marginal rate of transformation, a rate at which one good can be replaced by another. The formula of marginal rate of transformation is a change in production of commodity X divided by a change in production of commodity Y. So we have looked on what we call a farm, where I have seen that a farm is a production unit under unified management and control. We have seen the factors that determine the size of farm, where we have seen the market share of a farm, the level of sales turnover, number of employees, value of capital employed, and so on. We have looked on what we call economies and diseconomies of scale, where we have seen that economies of scale are the advantages occurring to a firm due to a larger scale operations, while diseconomies of scale are the disadvantages of a larger production or expansion occurring to a firm. So, we have looked a form of economies of scale, where we have get the technical economies, marketing economies, managerial economies, financial economies, research and development economies, and risk bearing capacity, where a larger firm is easily to split its risk to another firms. So, these economies of scale, we have seen the forms of these economies of scale, where I have seen as a firm is being larger and expanded to another level. There is some disadvantages that can be acquiring to that farm due to the larger operations or production, where I have seen the poor communication, financial diseconomies, marketing diseconomies. I have looked about quality control, coordination, and cooperation. I have seen what we call mergers of farm or takeover, where a farm can make a mutual agreement with another farm to join together. So we have seen what we call horizontal mergers, where the farmers at the same line of business join together. We have seen forward mergers or forward vertical, where a farm can join with another farm at the next stage of production. We have seen backward, where a farm can join with another farm at the previous stage of production. We have seen lateral merge and the farms with and the last was a conglomerate merge, where the farms at totally different join together. For example, a restaurant join with a studio. So the last point was type of costs, where we have seen different types of cost, what we call total cost, marginal cost, average variable cost, fixed cost, and average fixed cost. That is our point of today. Thank you for watching this video. I thank you for sharing this video. Thank you for your subscription and sharing this video. We are together to make more efficient, to increase our skills and knowledge in economics. So thank you very much. We were together with Gerard Realty Limited. So as you know, you are my friend. I am your friend. We will work together to increase our skills in economics. Make comments because your comments guide us what to improve in our next sessions.